Okay. Take 3. I've been watching some stuff on the Jehovah's Witness Church, particularly Becoming Friends with Jehovah, which is the story of Caleb and Sophia, 2 little kids. One's like 8 and one's like 6. And their family are devout Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyway, so they're not allowed to have anything to do with magic, birthdays, Christmas, Halloween, all the things that kids do. Now, if we take Halloween, I would have rules for my children for that. Because of my faith and my beliefs. You will not dress as the devil, ever. You will not dress as a demon. There would be rules based on my faith. And they're not the only ones that don't trick or treat, by the way. The Nazarenes don't either. Which is a whatever thing. They're not allowed to watch anything that has magic in it. They're not allowed to play with toys that might have to do with magic or whatever. Which means, come to think of it, they wouldn't be allowed to play with He-Man, would they? Because of the sword. And his magical transformation. He's a cartoon. Cartoons are not real. I think one of the problems with that is they don't teach, because they don't allow their kids to see any of this, and they say Jehovah hates it, Satan loves it. No, Jehovah doesn't hate anything. He teaches us not to hate. He clearly says, if you hate, you cannot love me. So, and they would say, well, no, that's if you hate any man. Yeah. But you shouldn't teach children that there are things that Jehovah hates or God hates, because there isn't. And instead of taking that toy back to the parents of the child that gave it to their 6-year-old, they throw it in the trash. I would take it back if I didn't want my child to have the toy for whatever reason, so they gave my kid I don't know, I'm trying to think what I wouldn't allow my kid to have, a toy Satan or something, which doesn't exist, but hopefully, or like a little devil doll at Halloween. I would say, can you please take this back? I don't feel comfortable having it in my home. I wouldn't just throw it in the trash. Especially a toy like the toy Caleb was given, because it looked like it was a decently priced toy because it had a lot of movement and stuff to it. I would want to make sure that the kid was even supposed to give it to him. And if he was, just explain, just say, we are Jehovah's Witnesses, or however you would say, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses and I don't believe in this. Please kindly take it back. You can be very nice about it. Not a big deal. And because even if I wanted my kid to have the toy, I have to tell you, if my kid came home from school with an expensive looking action figure like that, or I guess it was a wizard toy based on a cartoon, I would call the mom and say, did your kid actually mean to give this to my kid? Regardless of how I felt about it, which I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I would still want to know if it was okay that your child just gave my kid a $16 toy. Was he supposed to do that? And I think most parents would say, are you sure your friend was supposed to give that to you? Hold on. Let me change my battery. I'm back. Battery changed. Okay. So I think that's what any normal parent would do. If I came home from school with a He-Man doll that probably cost $6 at the time, which today is like, I don't know how much, my mother would probably ask me who gave it to me, where I got it, and probably try to get a hold of the mom and say, was your kid supposed to give this to my kid? Or were you borrowing it? Something like that. Don't throw it in the trash. I'm sorry. Then the mom's yelling at the other kid for giving away their expensive toy. So I just think, and don't get me wrong, if my kid was the one that gave the toy away, I would be saying, while I applaud your generosity, that was your toy. I'll talk to the other mom and see what the other mom says. Because if the other kid really likes the toy, then you know what? Again, my child was being generous from their heart. I'd just get them another one. And don't take it to school. There's another one where Caleb felt terribly guilty because he ate a cupcake at a school birthday party. So he ate a cupcake. Big deal. Another thing is they don't stand for the pledge to the flag. Because we only pledge allegiance to Jehovah. That doesn't make sense. In a way. And what I mean is, pledging allegiance to your country, especially when it clearly says one nation under God. I mean, if you want to change it to one nation under Jehovah, go ahead. And to say that's his only true name, where exactly does it say that? Well, except in your Bible where you changed everywhere that it said God, Lord, Father to Jehovah. Well, not everywhere it said God, but basically everywhere it said Lord, Father, you changed it to Jehovah. But where does it say that? That that's his name, his one true name. So, and how do I know all this? Because my friend of 30 years, until we couldn't be friends anymore, mostly because of it. And here's the difference. I still am a friend because his sister-in-law just passed away in December. Soon as I saw his brother's post, I called them. I actually called them twice to give my condolences and to, what the heck happened to Teresa? That's so tragic, you know? And didn't answer, didn't call back either time. I only left one message. I called twice. So, I mean, did I want to know what happened? Yes, but I have a feeling I know what happened. I'm not going to say, but it was pretty clear from Dennis's post what happened. So, and now it's, oh, poor us, 2 of our sons have lost wives. Yeah. And you've vilified their ex-wives. So, both of their ex-wives. I'm sorry, but Timmy's ex-wife did nothing wrong. They just grew apart. And I told them, I'm still friends with her on Facebook. I don't care. She's sweet. And you know what? She's little Timmy's mother. Dennis's first wife is another story entirely, but that was doomed from the beginning. That being said, she is the mother of his 3 daughters who don't want to have anything to do with him for whatever reason. On social media, they've changed their last name to their stepfather's name. I don't know why, but I would think that that would hurt Dennis. And that may be exactly why they did it, which is wrong. My opinion. And their mother should not allow it. But they're adults now. And he was, in one of his posts about losing his wife, he talked so lovingly to his girls. Directly to his girls. I think he wants them to reach out. Timmy's second wife I didn't know. But I've actually met his first wife. She's a sweetheart. I don't care what anyone says. They simply grew apart. My understanding was that was an amicable divorce with a little sort of disagreement on child custody, which is not unusual. Timmy remarried, he had a daughter, and his wife died of cancer. Very sad. Now, he's out of the military, and him and his daughter are living with mom and dad. So, unless they found a place, but last I knew they would still live with mom and dad. So, anyway, it's been a while since I watched this stuff, so I started watching newer videos. And I guess they've changed their disfellowshipping to removing, as if there's a difference. Oh, except there is, because you're allowed to text them to ask them to come to meeting, and you're allowed to say hi if they do come to meeting. The only ones that are going to come to meeting are the ones that actually want back in. And for them to make a cartoon where a mother tells her little girl who saw her friend's picture that she drew of her family, and her friend has two mommies, to tell her that that's wrong, that is none of your business or your child's business to tell that little girl that that's wrong. And the mom was all upset because the teacher told her families come in different ways. And they took that Bible verse that said not to marry people from different tribes and different, to mean something completely different, or different lands. What they were talking, and it said, thus you get your land stolen, or whatever. What they were talking about was what has happened. How many American women have married men from other countries, anywhere, the Middle East, Europe, Asia, and they get divorced, and the guy runs off with her kids? That's the kind of thing Jesus warned against when he talked about not marrying outside of who you are. And don't be yoked to someone who isn't the same religion. It's going to be very difficult for me as a Christian to be yoked to a Jew. I mean, it just would be. And it's not something that a Jewish person would do if they were a practicing Jewish person. Now, my friend is Catholic and she's married to a Jew, which most churches would not recommend. That being said, she's not practicing and neither is he. His grandmother was, and his grandmother accepted her. So, and that's all that matters. Now, chances are she ran into him doing plays and stuff, but chances are, where I live, I'm not going to run into a Jewish person and fall in love and get married. I mean, yeah, there aren't very many Jewish people where I live. There just aren't. Just because of where I live. No other reason. Just like you will see 2 or 3 African American people where I live. Whereas when I was a kid, there was literally 1. So, which I can't imagine him looking around and being like, you know? And I remember saying that to my teacher, and my teacher's like, we don't talk about that. We don't notice that. And I went home to my mother and I said, I didn't mean anything bad. I just thought that maybe he might feel bad and I didn't want him to feel bad, because he was the only person that looked like him. And I loved him. I still do. He's still... he just grows your heart 10 sizes. I mean, naturally. But why would And I love that teacher too. And I understand what she was trying to do. And my mother didn't feel that she handled it the right way either. My mother said, I understand what you were saying, and I understand that she doesn't want anybody to say anything against him, but you can't ignore the fact that you're right. He is different, and he's going to know he's different. And you need to make it okay that you don't care what he looks like. You know? And that's how I was raised. So. But I wonder how they would feel if a black Jehovah's Witness and a white Jehovah's Witness got married. Even though they're both Americans. So, not like you found somebody in Nigeria and brought him home. Well, I shouldn't say that because someone in my aunt's family actually did meet someone in Africa and bring him home. And he's a wonderful man. Nope, the pastor's family. I'm sorry, not my aunt's family. And he's a wonderful guy. And my aunt's daughter is married to an African-American man. What difference does it make? It doesn't to me. And it shouldn't to anyone else. So. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.